Good afternoon, folks. Ari here from Direct Auto Outlet in Fair Oaks, California. This will be a 25,000 mile ownership review of this 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid Lariat First Edition package. I have owned this vehicle for 25,803 miles, I believe now it is. And I will go through all the likes and dislikes and my general ownership experience with this vehicle. A little bit of a spoiler alert is I actually love this vehicle. This has been one of the best vehicles I have ever owned, and I am actually putting this vehicle up for sale, or actually I did earlier today put it up for sale. You can find it on our website if you have any questions, but won't go too in depth into that aspect. This will be more of my ownership experience with the vehicle. Just doing a quick walk around just to show you how brilliantly the vehicle is actually held up. The paint and finish has been great. I have owned many other makes and brands in the past, other manufacturers, FCA, other Ford products, and the paint and finish on this one is actually surprisingly good. I didn't expect it to hold up as well as it did, just knowing that it came out of a plant in Mexico. All of the aftermarket accessories, as well as not aftermarket, all the factory accessories that I put on after the fact, have held up pretty well, despite the fact that I thought that they were kind of cheaply made when I first bought them, but they're holding up quite nicely. No problems. These window deflectors have also held up beautifully. I thought initially they were kind of just cheaply made, mostly just because they're held on by double-sided tape, as well as this roof-mounted spoiler. It's all held up very well. Nothing has gotten discolored, nothing has gotten loose. Tires on this vehicle have been great. I've been rotating them every 4,000 miles. All the decals on this vehicle that are specific to the first edition package, such as the hockey stick and the roof, sorry, not the roof, but the hood mounted graphics here, have all held up pretty well. No imperfections whatsoever. Everything's worked great. Have had a few warranty claims on the vehicle, which I'll go into a little bit more depth in just a few moments as we get behind the wheel and go for a test drive. Have a little bit more time to chat at that time. My tailgate dampers is actually working as well as it did when it was brand new. The bed does get used, but I do have a hard, heavy-duty rubber mat over here, which protects my spray-on bed liner, which is already there to protect my bed. So this has actually worked out beautifully. And also the fold-away toolbox here has held up beautifully as well. Everything in it works. All of the Ford accessories I purchased for it, I'm actually pretty happy with. I didn't have very high hopes for them initially, but after 25,000 miles, they've held up pretty darn well. Interior of the vehicle, I kind of want to take credit for that and say that it's been held up well, probably because I protected it so well. The hard plastics they use on these vehicles, on the top of the doors, bottom of the door trim, door sills, dashboard, they're extremely susceptible to scratching and damage. I have actually just unwrapped this vehicle, for lack of better terms. I actually had all plastic covering this entire bottom of this door panel, plastic covering the entire portion of the door sill, bottom of the dashboard. It looks like I forgot to take this one off, even where you put on and off your seatbelt for this to hit, trying to prevent that from getting scratched. The reason I removed all that plastic is, again, because I unwrapped the vehicle. I put it for sale today, so I take really good care of my vehicles. And the vehicle has been protected with these all-weather mats, front and rear, as you can see. The carpeted mats are underneath, and I have plastic underneath the carpeted mats. So you have 3 layers of protection. You have your carpeted mats, you have your plastic, and then your carpeted mats, and then you have your all-weather mats on top of that. So everything has been well taken care of. I also had a screen protector that I just took off of this screen. So today is actually the first time fingerprints have been able to be put on to that screen. I go a little bit overboard with the care and upkeep of my vehicles. I also changed oil on this every 4,000 miles. As a matter of fact, my biggest beef, if I could just rewind for a second, is all of my experiences and interactions with my local Ford dealership. I was originally planning on maintaining this vehicle at the Ford dealership just because I wanted everything to show up on the Carfax. I know I'm big on records, and being in the automotive business myself, I like to be able to provide Carfax records for vehicles that I'm selling. So I was planning on doing that there, but it's been such a hassle using the Ford dealership. My local Ford dealership I don't have the greatest experiences with. I've had a lot of negative interactions with them, including my most recent interaction with some warranty claims I made on the vehicle. But long story short, I don't believe in slamming any kind of business, so I'm not going to get too in-depth with it. But my ownership experience with the vehicle has been very positive. With the Ford dealership has been less so. But I purchased a box of oil filters from the Ford dealership, OEM Motorcraft oil filters, and I do purchase all of my motor oil online. I get the Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. I've been doing the oil changes every 4,000 miles. I've also done the tire rotations, and the tires have kept up very nicely. The tires have about 6/32 of an inch remaining on all four, and I've had them properly inflated. I've never had to do an alignment on them. The alignment has stayed true throughout the whole entire ownership, and I believe I can get another 25 to 30,000 miles out of these tires without a problem. When I first initially got the vehicle, I had complained about the brakes being kind of grabby at low speeds. I knew that that would become a known problem with the vehicle because I figured I cannot be the only one that's encountering that problem. And sure enough, a technical service bulletin was put out on that issue. And when I took it in for some other warranty work, I also mentioned that TSB, and they reprogrammed the anti-lock brake system in the computer, and that completely resolved the problem. What was happening is when you go at low speeds, especially if you're like in a Starbucks drive-through and you're trying to inch forward, the pedal would kind of sink to the floor, and all of a sudden it would grab and make this awful noise that would scare the bejesus out of anybody that's in the vehicle. It was pretty obnoxious, and it would happen. I could kind of feel it coming because I could feel the brake pedal sink, but my passengers had no idea, and all of a sudden they hear this humongous clunk, and everybody in the vehicle would get startled. It was also quite unsafe because the vehicle, again, the pedal would sink and you would keep moving forward. So if you didn't leave a little bit of additional space between you and the vehicle in front of you, that was a recipe for a little bit of trouble there, unfortunately. So that was resolved. That was one of the main things that were bothering me throughout my ownership of the vehicle. On every oil change that I've done with the vehicle, I go through everything, I visually check everything, put flashlights on everything. And at my oil change that I did at just around 20,000 miles, I noticed a few different leaks. I had an engine oil leak, I had a transmission leak, and I had a coolant leak, neither one of which existed at the prior oil change that I did at about 16,000 miles. So I took pictures of it, documented it, took it to the dealership, showed them, had everything printed out and labeled, and kind of had a little PowerPoint presentation for them. The advisor was actually kind of impressed and kind of made it easier for them to be able to spot the issue and get it all handled. But yeah, all of those issues were handled. They remedied, or at least I hope they remedied all three problems. They say they did. And the only reason I'm a little less than absolute sure, just because again my experiences with my local Ford dealership has been less than perfect, so I'm not 100% confident that they do what they say. But I'm gonna go ahead and make a right-hand turn over here, get onto Winding Way. It was kind of disappointing to have 3 different oil leaks in a vehicle at 20,000 miles, but it's good that it was under warranty. And when I sell this vehicle, there are a wide array of warranties I can offer the next owner after the 36,000 mile warranty for the vehicle itself ends. And I do recommend warranties. There's a lot of electronics in these newer vehicles. Their build quality sometimes isn't quite up to par with some of the older Ford products that have been put out over time. So it's a good idea to have a warranty ongoing on these, at least to protect you against the large items. Other than that, I've had no performance problems. I've never had any check engine lights or any other kind of warning lights that have come up at all. Everything has worked. Everything has worked as it was supposed to. I did, however, have one problem with not the proximity sensor, but the keypad or the sensor that's on the door handle rather, where you touch the door handle and it's supposed to lock and unlock, that was intermittently not working on the passenger side. It's always worked on the driver's side, but sometimes it wouldn't work on the passenger side. So that was another item that I advised when I went in for warranty work, and they said they fixed that. I don't get through into the passenger side very often, so the times that I have, it has worked, but that was another issue that we had with the vehicle. Now, fuel economy with the vehicle is absolutely great. As you can see right now, in the last 3,700 miles, just about 1 mile shy, I've averaged 43.8 miles per gallon, and this has not been mileage in which I've been trying to hypermile. I've been driving this vehicle normally the way I would drive any vehicle, and it has been performing great. Fuel economy is fantastic. If I do try to hypermile, I can get over 55, 60 miles per gallon, but you really have to be conscious of how you're driving the vehicle, and I just didn't want to do that. The vehicle has never left me stranded, and it's one of the most comfortable vehicles, the greatest seating positions, very comfortable seats, offers lots of support, and very easy to drive. I would say, if not the best vehicle I've owned, probably one of the top 3. And I've owned a lot of vehicles that have been much more expensive than this. As a matter of fact, I just recently purchased a 2023 Lexus GX 460, and it is not as comfortable as this vehicle, and it costs 2.5 times more. And it's not as pleasant to drive either. So I think Ford got it right as far as the engineering was concerned with the vehicle. Quality control, you know, depending on how long you plan on keeping the vehicle, can be an issue, but hey, that's where the warranty comes in, and extended warranties come in. I think I'd highly recommend an extended warranty if you went with a vehicle like this. So something to think about. Folks, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to utilize the comment section below, or just give us a call directly here at the lot at area code 916-765-7575. You can also find us 24/7, 365 days a year on our website, which is www.directautooutlet.com. Backup camera is nice and large, easy to use, lets you know as you're getting closer to the vehicle behind you, and it actually starts beeping at you too as you get closer, telling you not to go any further. Folks, I appreciate you investing your valuable time and joining with us and sticking with us throughout the entirety of this video. We certainly do appreciate it. I do have a few other comments actually to make in regards to ordering information on the 2024s. I contacted a few Ford dealerships and asked them how the 2024 ordering was working, and the ordering banks were open at the time. They advised me that it is working on an allocation basis currently, so every dealership has allocations available to them depending on what their traffic is and what their sales numbers are. So, but most dealerships actually told me that they are charging, some of them said some of them up to $4,000 or $5,000 over MSRP, even for orders, which was a little bit disappointing, considering you have to wait over a year for the vehicle to come in, and once they come in, you're still paying thousands of dollars over MSRP, which is a little bit unfortunate. So, all to your own. Shop around at many different dealerships. Make sure you can get a price guarantee, get your price locked in, and make sure that you're not coming up with any surprises after the fact. And if you decide to buy this beautiful one, again, it is going up for sale, so just check our website, see tons of photos on it, descriptions, free Carfax report, and we could discuss extended warranty options for you as well. But hey, appreciate you joining us and sticking out with us throughout the entirety of this video. We certainly hope to have the opportunity to see and interact with each and every one of you in the near future. Thank you so much, folks. Have a great day. Take care now. Bye-bye.